Our wins over Virginia, Pitt, and Boston College from last episode put us at 10-0 going into our final 2 regular season games. And even though we had already punched our ticket into the ACC Conference Championship game, it was still necessary to finish the season 12-0 to give us the absolute best chance to make it into the college football playoff. So we spun the wheel twice as we always do and ended up getting 2 reward challenges, pretty solid. And now we were ready to smoke Clemson in the rain. I always get a little bit nervous playing in the rain on this game because, quarterbacks throw terrible passes, receivers drop balls all the time. But we went into this game firing as we ran that speed option and we got a huge touchdown. Great way to start the game. And then after getting a stop on the defensive side, we went right back to work on offense, hitting Carter there for a first down, and then on 3rd and 21, finding him again for a huge 55-yard touchdown reception. We were hype, obviously, because we found ourselves up 14-0 early, but Clemson snapped back real quick because on the first play of their next drive, their halfback took it to the house, cutting that deficit in half for now. And I say for now because Josh Wood had a big play of his own getting into the red zone with that rush, which led him to find Xavier Worthy in the end zone, putting us up 14 points yet again. Clemson couldn't get anything going on offense, so we went right back to work, getting another huge play, this time from Nate McCollum, landing us in the red zone again where Hassan Hall easily hopped into the end zone, increasing our lead to 21. And then on top of all of that, they decided to throw the ball with under 10 seconds left in the half, and they paid for it as Taylor McCauley took this interception to the house. Our boys were insanely hype and were honestly already thinking about the Georgia game as we went to the break with a 35-7 lead. We ended up scoring again in the second half, finding Xavier Worthy there, but after that there wasn't much to watch as we took the win, moving to 11-0. Because we had 3 passing touchdowns, Nate McCollum got a +3 upgrade, and then because we scored over 35 points, Joe Fusile, Josh Wood, and Pierre Quick were picked to get +2 upgrades. Anyways, we went to spin the wheel 2 more times before the Georgia game, and we got yet another reward challenge paired with a pretty frightening punishment challenge. But now we were ready to hop into our last regular season game of this series, and Georgia was going to see if they could prevent us from going 12-0 as their offense started off pretty strong, getting the running game going and striking first. On our first offensive drive, Josh Wood was able to connect to a couple of his receivers, getting us into their territory, but Georgia's defense came up with a stop, so we answered their touchdown with just a field goal. Again though, the running game torched us as their 1-play drive ended in a 75-yard touchdown rush, putting them up 14-3. But we knew we were far from out of this one as it is still very early in this game, so our offense got to it. Josh Wood finds Nate McCollum there, which allowed our boy Josh to run it in himself, cutting that deficit down a little bit, and our defense came up clutch before the break, holding them to just a field goal after that stop on 3rd down. So going to the half, we found ourselves down by 7, and their defense was feeling really confident going into the second half, so we had to put that to a stop. And who else would do that besides our leader Josh Wood, going for a hell of a run there, and just a couple of plays later he threw a bomb to Nate McCollum, allowing us to tie this ball game up. On their next offensive drive, our defense was able to stop them, holding them to another field goal. So now we knew we had the chance to take the lead for the first time all game if we just scored a touchdown, and we got that here as Josh Wood threw another dot to Malachi Carter this time, putting us up 24-20 late in this game. But their offense got to work. Brock Bowers got them past the 50 in just 1 play, which got their boys really hyped up. But the good thing is our defense thrives off that energy. As you can see, our boys came up with a sack on 3rd down and then another one on 4th down, and that last sack proved to be the game-winning play as we were able to run the clock out and complete our perfect regular season. As happy as we were to beat our in-state rivals, we knew we had to sharpen up because we had the biggest game of the season coming up next, the ACC Conference Championship game against the 8-4 Syracuse Orange. And even though we went 12-0 in the regular season, there is still a slim chance that we miss the college football playoff, because looking at the top 25 polls right now, if all 3 undefeated teams ended up losing their conference championship, then only 2 of the 3 would end up making the playoff. And as you can see, we are that one team who wouldn't make it, so this makes this Syracuse game an absolute must win. With that being said, it would be nice to get a couple of good wheel spins, and that's exactly what we got, because we landed on the +5 defensive wheel. So we spun another wheel that had all of our defensive starters on it, and it looks like Miles Brooks will be getting a +5 upgrade for this next game. As always, this upgrade will only stand if we win by 9 or more. Let's get into the game. Off the rip, their defense had us rattled, as you can see, forcing a stop on 3rd and 23, so we quickly had to punt the ball away, giving them great field positioning to start their drive. But they made a huge mistake in the red zone, turning the ball over there, and yet again their defense had us on 3rd and very long. But thanks to EJ Jenkins' wild catch here, we were able to get out of trouble, allowing Joshua to get us into the red zone with this rush, eventually running it in himself to put us on the board first. Our boys were ecstatic, and they were even more ecstatic when Syracuse tried to fake a punt on 4th and 3. We were easily able to bring those shenanigans to a stop, and again we got to work on offense. Josh Wood using his legs again to get us a first down, and just when we thought we were going to go up 14-0 at the half, Hassan Hall coughed it up on the 1-yard line, so it was just a 7-0 game going to the break. And going into the second half, we obviously wanted our defense to keep dominating, but Syracuse came out with some firepower, converting on 3 straight third downs, getting themselves into the red zone where they were easily able to score and tie this game up at 7 apiece. And after forcing us to punt, they had the ball here yet again, where Garrett Schrader found his tight end for a huge play, but they weren't able to do much after that because our defense tightened up and stopped them on 3rd down, only allowing them to score a field goal. And the exact scenario I explained before this game is becoming a reality right before our eyes, as Ohio State and Washington are both losing their games. Obviously we are also losing, and time was running out, so we couldn't waste any more offensive drives. Good thing is we didn't waste any bit of this drive because Josh Wood took this one to the house all the way from our own 44-yard line. We are now up 14-10 halfway through the fourth. A huge possession coming up here for the Orange, but our guys on defense clamped the living hell out of them, coming up with a 3-and-out, forcing them to punt the ball back to us. And all we needed to do was run the clock out, but we wanted to keep Miles Brooks' upgrade, and to do that, a touchdown was mandatory. Luckily, at this point of the season, Josh Wood is just a beast who can run around any defense. He got Hassan Hall into a great spot where he could punch in the final blow, and we were now the ACC Conference Champions. But most importantly, we have punched our ticket into the 18 playoff, where we have somehow snatched the 1 seed. And our first round opponent will be revealed in the next episode, which is the series finale. Stay tuned.